Hey guys, we are going over mastering double unders today. So we'll go from everything from, go through everything from not having a rope at all up to doing double unders and everything in between. So even if you're still working on singles, there will be stuff in here that will help. So first things first, we don't need the rope. We're gonna start with some, just talking about hand position, body position when you jump, and how to start with, like I said, without the rope. So as far as your hands go, you're gonna tuck your elbows in here. You're gonna keep them right at your side. You're rolling down the window from the side. They're slightly in front of my body, all right? And one good thing I always use is if I'm jumping rope and I look about 10 feet to 8 to 10 feet out in front of me on the ground, I can see my hands in my peripheral vision, okay? As soon as they start to move back here, well, now you're going to be, that rope's making a circle. You're gonna be jumping in the wrong part of the circle, all sorts of different stuff. So just keep your hands slightly out front and roll down that window. For you young people, that's how car windows used to work, all right? Now, when working on this, you have to either master the hands or you have to master the jump one at a time before you put them together, all right? So the hands I've talked about here, you just keep them nice and tight. The jump is meant to be a very vertical, right up and down, staying on your toes, okay, from the side. It's nothing too crazy, but sometimes people tuck their feet or they hinge over at the hips. None of that, right? Just stay nice and consistent, just jump straight up and down and work on that. After doing that, jump with your hands out here, okay? Right? Can you stay vertical? Can you stay with a nice tight core? Can you keep your hands in the same position? And if you think about like your belt line and a line across your chest, those need to stay the same distance apart. If you're getting closer when you're jumping or farther away, we don't want that either. Okay, so you guys get the idea. Nice tight core, stay put. Once you're comfortable with the jump, and you can just practice that a few times, it's not something that you necessarily need to do every day, then start with the penguin claps. We've done penguin claps in class before. That's where you just tap your thighs every time you jump. You can do this for single unders, and you can do this to get the rhythm for double unders. So, right, every time you're in the air, clap your thighs. Doubles. Okay, so this is where it starts to get a little interesting, trying to put the rhythm of everything together. I have faith. All right, so get used to that. Film yourself doing that if you want. All right, moving on. When you get to a rope, now we've got lots of jump ropes here. So if you have one of our gym ropes, they are a lot thicker. So you can see this one here. This is just a little cable, and that is definitely harder to learn with the lighter rope. The heavier ropes, you can feel them going around. They kind of pull on your hands, and that's really good to help you learn the rhythm of everything. So start with a heavier rope and just get used to doing singles. The first thing you want to master here is that you're not having an extra jump in the middle of your rhythm, right? You don't want to do 2 jumps for every one time around. So it's just right here. Okay? So a couple things with just regular jumps. One, and this is where you got to film yourself, or maybe have a mirror or something. Did your hands stay put? Okay? Were they slightly in front of you? Were they in the right position? All that fun stuff. And then they stay relatively small. We don't need to be making great big circles. The next thing, and this is where the mirror or filming can help, is did your rope stay symmetrical as it's going overhead? I know that might not be something you can see super well in video. You might need a bright, colorful rope or whatever it is, but the rope should not be distorted. If it's making loops or it's all wavy in the air, then your hands are moving too much. If it's distorted off to one side and it's constantly going around over here, right, then your hands are out of position a little bit. They're wonky and whatnot. So just make sure it's nice and symmetrical. It should look like you're jumping through the St. Louis Arch, right? Nice and even every time, okay? After you've gotten used to just one jump, one time around, the next thing you need to master is speeding it up and slowing it down. So you should be able to go from really slow single jumps to really quick single jumps and back to slow single jumps without stopping. Okay? Look like this. got that on the first try even. So what we're trying to figure out there is, do you have some rhythm, or are you in sync with your jump and your hands? Can you make sure that they match up as the speed changes? And that's definitely something you need to be able to master. So that's the next one to figure out. Can you speed up, slow back down? Notice when I was going really slow, those are pretty slow jumps. They're really high off the ground. Also something you can, focus on when you're just starting is get off the ground. You got to jump a little bit. You got to spring up. The longer you can spend in the air, the more time it has for the rope to get around. Okay. One little thing that comes to mind: how much rope or how long your rope should be. Now, this is a little challenging for everybody. We would have to see you do it in person, but in general, what you want is the rope to just be barely nicking the ground. If it comes down and you hear this big long slap and it drags all the way through, it's probably too long. This also means it should only be about 1.5 feet, at best 1 to 1.5 feet overhead. Okay, so if that's something you can check out as well, you might need to shorten your rope up or extend it or whatever it might be. Okay, so as far as when you get to the rope, don't have an extra jump in there. Be able to go from slow to fast to slow. The next is single, single, double. Single, single, double. Single, single, double. Okay? And if you think back to the penguin claps when we jumped, it's ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. You're doing, it's a double cadence. It's not just speeding your hands up to twice the speed. That doesn't work. All right? So, single, single, double. Single, single, double. Okay? Now, I'm pretty good at jump ropes. I got lucky there. Like, you're not going to hit that every single time. You might get 1 in a row, you might get 2, you might get 7, whatever it might be. But work on that single, single, double. Pretty straightforward. Notice it's 1, 2. You speed it up. You got to keep it quick. Still got to have that nice tall jump. And when you start to do doubles, what tends to happen is you start focusing on one thing and everything else kind of goes out the window. So keep that jump the same, keep your hands still, just try to do 2 quick jumps, okay? Or 2 quick rotations, not jumps. After you've mastered the single, single, double, obvious progression there would be 1 single, 1 double, 1 single, 1 double, okay? Okay? And it's just going to speed up from there. And then of course, you're going to try to do your doubles. Now, most people, when they first get started, they're still going to end up doing a couple singles to get everything going, and then they go into the doubles and they keep them going, right? So you'll see a lot of people, they get going, right? And eventually, you'll get to the point where the first one can be a double. Don't worry about that right now. But once you get there, again, is the jump staying the same? Are the hands staying put? Are they slightly in front of you? All that fun stuff. You're gonna notice like you're tensing up your shoulders quite a bit. You'll learn to relax that eventually. Don't focus on that right now. And like to wrap up, if you have any questions or anything, don't know, film it and send it to your coach. We'll help you, we'll give you some pointers, we'll work on some tidbits, stuff like that. It's not too crazy. This is certainly just one of those movements that just take some time, take some practice, but now you have a few things to progress through in order to kind of come out the other side with double unders. So, if you guys have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, I won't keep you any longer. Have a great day, and we will see you soon.